So let's talk about Oppenheimer for a few minutes.
Oh man,
we saw that on Thursday.
Yep.
And we're not going to talk too long about it because it's a 3-hour movie. I will say that 3 hours, generally, there's going to be a part of it that's going to be boring for me, but I don't think there was a single boring scene in all 3 hours of that film.
I don't think there was anything that dragged. I don't think there was anything that felt extraneous.
Yeah.
Like everything was in service to the plot. It's just there was so much stuff.
There was, and I get it. He wanted to do one film, and Oppenheimer's life is so insane and storied that if you're going to do it in one movie, it's got to be long. I love how it's set up. So first of all, the cast is crazy. That there are so many fucking famous faces in it. Robert Downey Jr. is like probably the standout performance for me as well. Plays who is that? Senator Strauss or Strauss?
Strauss,
right? Yeah. And fucking Matt Damon is the grumpy army guy that just wants to get shit done, and
General Matt Damon, as he will forever be.
Right. Emily Blunt from A Quiet Place plays Oppenheimer's wife, who's amazing. And so if you know anything about Oppenheimer, spoilers isn't really a thing that you put on this.
Yeah,
because it's just kind of like
he was a giant fucking nerd who made huge advancements in physics and made the atomic bomb.
Yeah. And the thing that I will tell you, they set the tension up for this, and it winds and winds and winds until they do their atomic test, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. That part of the film is amazing when they finally test the bomb and everything. And
it reminds me of the Holdo maneuver, honestly, because they do a lot of the same tricks, like this visually stunning thing with almost no sound happening.
Right. You know what's fucking insane about that? They didn't use CGI for it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was practical in camera. Isn't that nuts?
Obviously not an actual nuke.
No, I don't think so. Yeah,
I hope not.
Yeah, they
I feel like that would violate some international treaties.
Yeah, they well, we did it for Chris Nolan. The world's like, we understand, we get it. Okay. But yeah, it was a practical thing, and the music plays into it really well. It was written by Ludwig Göransson. And there's this motif as they get closer, this ticking clock. And it just seems, and there's a certain point where you don't have the feeling that they could stop it. Like it was inevitable, that the weight of it is, and I posted about this on Facebook, but the entire ride home from that, I was having this insane feeling of existential dread that when you consider our existence, our minuscule, insignificant existence in this universe, with the tools at our disposal and the universe and the physics of it, that we are literally infants playing with fire. We have no idea what the fuck we're doing. And the fact that there was a non-zero chance that when they did this test, they could have killed every man, woman, and child on Earth, and they did it anyway.
Because the chances were almost zero.
Yeah, but it wasn't. But it was not zero.
It was not.
That's, by the way, very serious movie throughout. Mm-hmm. One moment of levity right before the test is between Oppenheimer and General Matt Damon, where he's like, we've done the math on this. It's almost zero, but we might kill everyone. He's like, wait, run that one past
zero.
Yeah, run that one past me again. And he's like, no, it's not zero, but it's close to zero. And he's like, when are we doing this? He's like, oh, in a few seconds. I just wanted you to know. And he's like, oh my fucking God, what is this? So, go ahead.
Just talking about the nuke test is a good segue, I think, into some of the more artsy things that this movie does. Some of the art cinema sequences.
Sure.
So that there's a part where Oppenheimer like leaves Los Alamos to have a romantic tryst with his communist girlfriend.
Yeah.
And like presumably after they fuck, they're sitting in this hotel room in these really fancy chairs. They're both naked, and they're just having
naked.
this having this very frank conversation about, you know, where can this go? What are our futures like? And it's like it probably didn't literally happen that way in real life, but it's an artistic way to show that they're being completely open and vulnerable with each other.
Yeah. Which was not something he could necessarily, I guess, do with, you know, I know. So apparently I appreciate that they were willing to acknowledge Oppenheimer's flaws, which was that he was a womanizer. I mean, he was not a perfect man. I mean, and he, like, we always think of Albert Einstein as this like genial, you know, harmless, you know, dude. But like, who had also been like, he had 2 marriages too, but like Oppenheimer had some faults. He was, you know, I think he had a little stint of alcoholism. He was a womanizer. He was notoriously hard to work with sometimes, and was very unlikable.
Another thing this movie does really well is it shows that like although Oppenheimer and the physicists he worked with were totally on board with the project to, you know, make the atomic bomb and end World War II, there were a lot of scientists who did not and refused to do this. Like he tried to recruit Einstein. Einstein said no.
Nope.
Niels Bohr showed up at some point to like tell them, you know, this is what the Nazis are doing. And Oppenheimer's like, great, so you're gonna help us, right? And Niels Bohr's like, fuck no, I'm out of here.
Yep. This is insane. You guys are fucking insane.
Yeah. Like it was not at all a unanimous thing among the community of scientists at that time.
What great, it would have been crazy to have lived in this time period. And I don't know how comfortable I am living in a world where we have this kind of power to just annihilate each other completely within seconds. It when you start to think about it, it is truly terrifying.
Yeah. If it's any consolation, we're more likely to die from human-induced global climate change than we are in a nuclear war.
Yeah, which, yay, at least we have that.
We die slowly instead of instantly.
Yeah. I love how the antagonist of the movie, Robert Downey Jr.'s character,
Strauss.
Yeah, his entire motivation is that he thought Oppenheimer talked shit about him once to Einstein, and he embarrassed him.
Congress,
and then he embarrassed him in front of in a meeting, and like it precipitated this like career-long scheme to discredit Oppenheimer. And it just like, I love Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in this. I thought he was great.
Which is another one of those really artsy things the movie does. So the framing device is that in whatever we consider the present day, there's this. So Oppenheimer is called into this hearing about whether they should re-up his security clearance so he can keep, you know, talking like
this bureaucratic thing. Yeah.
And like at basically the same time or a little bit after, Strauss is going through this confirmation hearing to be the commerce secretary for the president's cabinet.
Did you notice Alden Ehrenreich, by the way?
I don't think I did.
His aide that was preparing him for that was Alden Ehrenreich. Brilliant, by the way. It was, you know, very well acted.
But like all the Strauss scenes are in black and white, which I didn't totally get at first until I noticed that every single scene Oppenheimer is in full color.
Yeah.
So it's meant, I think, to be this dichotomy between the two characters and the way they see the world. Maybe
we could go on for hours over the brilliance of this. It really is a brilliant movie. It's heavy. I'll probably only watch it once.
There's one more scene I really want to highlight. So after
me too. But after
bombs get dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Gary Oldman, by the way, played President Truman, and it was fucking great.
So like Oppenheimer's at Los Alamos with all the scientists and the families assembled in the gymnasium.
Sure. Yep.
Like he walks in and they're all like chanting his name and stomping on the bleachers, and there's this huge sound that actually comes back a few times in the movie when like he's in the hearing and like the pressure is coming in. And he just feels this. So he walks up to the podium, and like you can see everyone is cheering for him, but he doesn't hear anything.
But you can hear them moving.
Yeah, you hear them stomping and stuff, but you don't hear their voices.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And then he like gets up and like the when he's giving his speech, there's a close up on his face, and you can see in behind him like the background is like rippling.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Tension and stuff.
Yeah,
and like he recites these jingoistic rah rah go pro war lines because it's what the people want to hear, and he doesn't hear them cheering for him. And then as he's walking out, he looks at people and he like double takes and sees two different things. Like the first time he looks at a woman in the stands, she's cheering, and then the next time she's crying. And then he looks at a couple and like they're making out, and then he looks again and they're like kind of consoling each other. And it's like he sees this scene of a woman, he like hallucinates that her face is peeling off from fire and radiation and shit. It's a really good way to show how conflicted he's become.
I can't imagine
what he's actually created.
Right, the burden he must have. I mean, unless he was just a psychopath, the burden he must have carried.
He's very evidently not, because immediately after he's going around trying to get people to stop using nukes.
Right, and it became his entire life's mission. Yeah. Right, yeah. I really the last scene. I love how this film ends, where you get another perspective of the conversation that he has with Einstein, that upset Strauss or Robert fucking Downey Jr.
Yeah,
and. Because earlier in the film, he showed him some math and was like, here's the math on the likelihood that we will destroy the entire planet. And
can you just double check this for us?
Yeah. And Einstein was like, nope, I don't want any part of this. And
which is understandable.
Yeah. And later on, at the end of the film, he's like, years ago, I asked you about that math and about the, about the likelihood that we would have killed the entire planet. And they talked about it, and he's like, what was it about them? Like, what did you think of the math, or what is the likelihood that what did you think the likelihood of us killing the entire planet was? And Albert Einstein replies, "You've already started that. Like, that's inevitable. Mm-hmm. Like you've started that already. So good job. Like it maybe not today or tomorrow or in a few decades, but eventually." This is how the human race will end. So, bye. And that's why
that's how the movie ends.
Yeah, and that's why he's in a bad mood when he passes Strauss. And it's not because Strauss like Oppenheimer didn't turn him against him or anything. And it's just the fragility of that character's ego, that like having Einstein just be in a bad mood around him. He was like, "Oh, he turned Einstein against me. My entire life's work is going to be to discredit this man." Just the whole thing, fucking brilliant. I loved it. John and I are going to go see Barbie. I know that these things are married together. Barbie and Oppenheimer are married together. I don't understand why you can't compare them. They're entirely
just released
different.
on the same day. That's
it. One's R-rated, and so it just has impossible weight to it. The other one's the opposite of that. It's like in every respect. But we're going to go see it in a couple of days. I'll let you know what I think. So we're going to be done there. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe, do all the stuff. I'll be back tonight at 7 with some Battlefront, and see you later.
Bye.